Barnabas was the most challenging week of my life, mentally, physically, spiritually. I went into it knowing it would be hard and knowing that it would be a test, but I didn't know what it would take on my part to overcome that. And when we got our campers, they arrived, and we went to greet them, and I saw Shadow, who was my camper, and it was hard to run up and be all excited and greet her like a normal camper when I didn't really know how she was responding to me. Like, was she excited or was she sad to leave her parents? I didn't know, and at that point I was kind of like, this is not what I signed up for, this is difficult. But as the week went on, I started to realize that I'd never been broken to that point before, and I'd never really fully had to let God work through me, because I'm really independent and I love to do things on my own. And so I learned that when I'm weak, God is strong, and He pulls through when I can't.
One of the things I enjoyed most about Camp Barnabas was meeting the campers and just not viewing them as any other handicapped or disabled person, and really getting to know them as individual people and realizing that they can do anything that any other individual can do. They can get in the pool, they can ride horses, they can do archery, they can do anything that a normal person do. They can enjoy sports, and it was a real blessing that God's given them these talents and they're able to take advantage of them.
God showed me really in those first 5 minutes that I didn't need anyone else but Him, and He really showed me that I didn't need to worry about what was going to happen that week, and I wasn't nervous from that point on for the rest of the week. And my challenge to you guys is that if you're ever nervous about sharing the gospel with somebody or doing something hard, that just trust the Lord, because He'll come through. He'll bring you through anything.
When I first got my camper, his name is Josh, and he couldn't speak and he was in a wheelchair. And it was really hard the first couple of days because we went to different activities and I didn't know how to get him involved in a lot of the things he couldn't do since he was in a wheelchair and since he couldn't talk. And so I didn't know if he was having fun a lot of the time. But a couple of days into the trip, we were in the pool, and I decided just to let him try the slide, and I didn't know if he had done it in years past or not. And so I took him down it, and it was such a cool moment because that's the happiest I saw him all week, and he just smiled so big and started clapping, and it was so joyful. And it taught me that just to take advantage of the blessings that the Lord has given me, because I have a body that works fine, and he was disabled and he was still able to be so joyful in that moment. And so it taught me just to be joyful in life and just the little things.
At Camp Barnabas, I saw students from all over the country come together and serve Christ in a way I've never seen it before. Like, the passion was so much more real than what I've seen before, and we served those special needs kids and their siblings, and we served them with such a passion. I felt Christ was in all of us, and I just felt that if we brought this back to Dallas in our WaterMark student ministries, that we could make such a difference here, and like, it would be so awesome if we could serve with the passion we had at Camp Barnabas back in Dallas and show everybody what we learned at Camp Barnabas.
I think one of the things that put me in awe were just the relationships between campers and counselors, and especially Hawk and Carson. Hawk is just a ball of joy and just brought such light into my week, and Carson did such a great job just being his best friend and treating him like he had known him forever, that there were no barriers between them because of his disability. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was at cross carry when the cabins carry the cross that has all the names of the campers that have passed away in years past, and it got to Hawk, and he saw one of the names of his friends on the cross and just began to cry. And I just remember how it broke my heart, and Carson being, his new best friend, it broke his heart even more, and he just held Hawk for 10 to 15 minutes, just holding him while he's crying, and just to see that picture of someone being held, and there's such a good depiction of our relationship with Christ and just how Christ holds us in those times when we are completely vulnerable.
I learned so much from Camp Barnabas. One of the greatest things that I learned was just how to be a servant. Just watching all of my friends be completely humbled that week was amazing. Our job was to play with these kids, to love on these kids, and it wasn't about us, it was completely about these kids, and just allowing them to have an incredible, fun time in a safe environment. And it was our job to be Christ-like towards them and to love them just like Christ would.